Alright guys, what's up? Yes, I printed out a few pages from FSM. It should be page 171 through 176. That should give you all the wires. I really wanted to be sure. And then I reached out on the forums to see what the color coding was. L is blue, right? So, because B is black, right? So they picked the next letter over and the L is blue. I mean, that's, I guess, how I do it. So I've got, this is my channel, these guys, right, is going to be blue right there. I don't know if you can fucking see that. It's going to be that blue right there. That's the white's hooked up to. And then the black that the black's hooked up to. And that's how I have it hooked up to this guy. Like I said, don't worry, I have tape on the bottom side of my connection, so it shouldn't be fucking shorting on anything. Yeah, that's a bird's nest as fuck. But just so we're clear, I'm going off of this connector, right? It's the only weird one with two big fucker ears on the side. Let me show you. It's the one here with ears on the side, right? And you can tell by the numbers on the you know, well, you know, on the numbers. Anyway, so it's definitely not the big connectors. It's the one with the speaker connections. So if you're doing this, you're doing your fucking speaker connections. Those guys right there, it's part of that deal. It's part of that setup. I thought it was something else because I had 5 volts coming out of the other ones, but it turns out 5 volts go to other shit. Because weird, why would I have 5 volts coming out of this and that? So anyways, so yeah, right now it's not producing anything. It's actually this is what gives it its power. But it's, so this is shooting 5 volts through, right, and looping back to the ground, and this is creating resistance. I'll show you how it works. So right now I've got it on. You see how it's doing that? So I'm just pushing buttons and shit right now, and that's how that's working. How fucking cool is that? Now that's these guys here, not this one, but this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy, right? See that? And I've labeled them, right? I don't know if you can see it if I do that. See that? It's kind of fucking pointing at the different locations, right? And that's like little deals there, right? So A4 is going to be what? Back button. And it's going to be the back button. So that's what it's shooting to. So that's where we're at so far. Obviously I need to go into these guys too, and I'll get into that some more. But so you got this thing hooked up, right? You got, as we talked about in the last video, right? And take note of those little screws, right? Be very careful of those screws. I don't know if I mentioned it before. I'm just mentioning again just in case. Very small incremental changes to see if you can get this to do what you want it to do. All right, so now you're all hooked up, right? You got your fucking thing. You got the program, right? The manager. Here you are. So, so you want to like program it, right? You want to set it up. Okay, well, that represents the voltage, right? On one channel. That means this one is probably like this guy, right? And the white's going, it's coming to here, and it's coming back through the black, right? And since I'm not pushing anything, it's like wide open, right? It's way the fuck over here to the right. That means, right? It's just going. What happens if I push it button,
too long,
right?
too long,
It comes way the hell over here, right? Well, this is like maybe 1 or 2 volts or something, right?
volume up, too long,
right? So it's going over there, right? Because that's got like a resistor built in that's slowing it down. If I hit the right, if I hit the left, it's got a different resistor. a little bit more voltage or a little bit less voltage goes in. And that's kind of like for all of these, right? So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 buttons separated by 2 channels, right? And, oh, and you're going to like this, but you can actually make, it's 9 buttons, you can make it into 18 buttons, depending on how you set it up. Anyways, so what do we do? Okay, remember I said I would say that this is a basketball hoop, and this is my basketball. Okay, so how do I size this thing? Okay, one thing is I want to put the basketball hoop in the right place, so the basketball falls in there, okay? And that's via position, okay? The basketball hoop size, so that that falls in there and makes it do stuff, is the actual range. The range is the width of that basketball hoop. So if I hit something, it's gonna fall inside. Okay, see how it's all shaky and shit and doing stuff. That's and I've picked 4 as a number. Now also, and this is why the screws are important. If you run into that problem, you want to make sure they're spaced out enough. Oops, wrong one. They're spaced out enough so they're not touching each other. Right? Because if not, then they're going to activate each other. It's going to be like 2 things going on at the same time instead of you push volume up and not volume down, or volume up and not enter at the same time. Okay? So they need to be spread out. I haven't set these up, but you can see how they're overlapping. We got to work on that. Okay. The boxes underneath A1, A3, A4 don't matter. It's just those purple squares that matter. Oh, and fun fact. So the ones on top, that's your second set of buttons if you want them. I'll show you how to set that up in a minute. First of all, how did I do this?
Volume down.
Volume down. How did I set that up? Okay, so I got...
Mute.
See that?
Too long.
Oops.
Volume down.
See that?
Up. Volume down.
So how did I set those up? Okay, easy. And I'll show you an illustration. I'm not going to show you on those because they're already set up. You see how they're all set up? This one's actually even set. The long is set up on mute. All right. Let's go over to C channel and pick one. This big fat square. I just left click that. I want to take it over to escape. I want, when I push this on C, to go push escape on a keyboard. Oh, maybe I don't. So let's left click it again. Go back there to escape. Oops. Boom. Undone. What if I wanted to go to escape and F1 at the same time? Combination keys. Well, I'll just get left click over here, and then left click here, and then left click here, and then I've got them both. And if I want to remove, say, the F1, then what I just showed you. So, fairly simple, fairly easy, right? All right. So, and by the way, so, okay, so we're here, and we're like, okay, so how do, like, now we know how to link them, right? And I can link them to over there the same way I did on the keyboard, by the way. So, okay, that's interesting. So, hold on. Where are we? There we go. Let's go to each channel. So how do I set those longs? Like if I want a long, right? Like, you know, I keep hearing this thing go.
V1 long.
Right? How about, you see how it,
Mute.
see how that long went mute?
Volume up. Volume down.
Right?
Mute.
I'm holding the mute. I'm holding the volume down for a long time. That means that's the long. So the way you do that is you set a value for L hold time. L hold time is long hold time. Okay, then that's short hold time. Critical time, I don't know what the fuck that is. Don't even ask me. I don't even know what cyclic button is. I haven't read the instructions. I don't care. I've gotten this far. And then you got that. Right, we talked about that. Or did we? Well, let's just do it real fast again. All right. So those basketball hoops, okay, the position that the voltage might fall under will be here. So where to put the hoops? Here. And you get that by pushing the button, finding out where the button, where that little red ends up. And then just adjusting that position, giving it a value, right? That one's, I think, is 20, right? If I move it, it's going to go left or right, right? And there's little up and down arrows. And then 4 is going to be how wide it is, so it just captures it. Okay, simple enough. And then, again, incrementally save. I mean, that's as far as I've gotten, so I'm going to give that to you so far. The next step, aside from what I'm doing here on a basic level, is trying to get the apps to open. I want to be able to set this up to open Android apps. What I'm thinking I might have to do is set up a program, like Macrodroid might be it. Like, for example, if I push HID letter such and such, it will activate this app. I may have to do that on the Android side of things. But for that, I have to open up my tablet and see if I can do that first. If I can do that, then I'm going to come here and start picking letters. Right? And then over there, I'll say, if this letter's been depressed, then that means go ahead and open this app, open that app, right? But I probably won't pick a letter. I'll probably pick, I don't know, insert, delete, home end, page up, page down, some shit like that. So if it depresses that, then it opens that. See what I mean? It's not like I can come in here and say, okay, open up Brainiac or open up a cascade of programs or switch over to Waze because I'm on a computer. I could probably run an emulator on this, but fucking why? If I can do it the other way, I mean, it might be like a tenth more of lag in terms of time, but who fucking cares? We'll just get it done. But that's how I'm doing it. Let's see how it goes. And I'll leave you here. I forgot to mention. So that's what I'm doing. Right? I'm getting all my buttons addressed so that I have everything, right? I think I already talked about this, but
F7, F6,
right?
F3, F8.
So I'm using all the buttons, all the longs. My laptop's probably getting hot. It's hot in here in the garage. So anyways, once it's all addressed, I've got it on paper. Now I can shut this shit off. And when I come back in the garage, I'm going to start cleaning that up. I probably don't have to show you that because it's fairly simple. You just want to, address the wires, whether you use tubing or you use tape. I'm going to use tape. Clean it up. You want to do incremental cleaning because you don't want to be so far along and then something doesn't work. Like one of your speakers doesn't work. Like, ah, shit. And then you got to undo it all. So you want to just clean it up just enough and get things working. Test it. And then keep cleaning. That way your wiring is good. Anyways, and everything else is good. But as far as this is concerned, save apply just to make sure we're solid. Right, where are we? Oh, there we go. Save apply. Okay, I feel good about that. I can shut it off and check this out tomorrow.